Okay, so like everyone listening, I'm super interested in AI, right? Like,
Yeah.
how's it going to change our lives? And one area that's both fascinating and a little scary
Yeah.
is these AI companions. We're talking AI that lives in your devices,
Hmm.
learns your habits,
Right.
and interacts with you in a personalized way.
It's really amazing how much progress has been made. I mean, it's not science fiction anymore. Like Microsoft,
Yeah.
they're really heavily invested in making this like a real thing.
Wow.
Imagine an AI that like sees what you see, hears what you hear,
Uh-huh.
and basically becomes this constant companion, learning from like your every interaction.
It's almost like having a super smart, like always available sidekick,
Yeah, yeah.
but this always on aspect,
Mm-hmm.
that's where things get kind of interesting,
Yes,
wouldn't you say?
for sure.
So we've got this article, AI Companions and Surveillance in Tech.
Right.
And it really dives into some serious privacy concerns
Absolutely.
with, this level of interaction.
The article like really stresses how these AI companions could be constantly monitoring you,
Right.
like all the time,
Yeah.
logging your actions, analyzing your behavior,
Mm-hmm.
keeping tabs on you in ways you might not even realize.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
It is, and it makes you think like, where's the line
Yeah.
between helpful assistance and just like surveillance,
Right.
like constant surveillance?
And this article even uses this phrase. It compares these companions
Hmm?
to a gateway to a new era of digital monitoring.
It's a good way to put it.
So, like, where does helpfulness end?
Yeah.
And, like, overreach begin, right?
Exactly.
What are you guys comfortable sharing?
Mhm.
What do you want to keep private? Especially, when the line between those two
Yeah.
gets all blurry.
Totally.
And, we can't talk about this without talking about the power of these tech giants.
Right.
Like the Apples, the Microsofts, the
Mm.
Nvidias of the world.
Huge companies.
Yeah.
Their combined market power is comparable to like the GDP of many nations.
Really?
Yeah. They're the ones
Mm.
pushing this whole AI revolution,
Uh-huh.
embedding it deeper and deeper into our devices.
And it's interesting because even a company like Apple,
Right.
which, has been all about user privacy,
Traditionally, yeah.
they're shifting strategies. They're using this thing called client-side scanning,
Mm-hmm.
which basically means they're analyzing your activity directly on your device.
Right.
So, imagine like you're snapping a photo
Uh-huh.
on your phone
Okay.
and it's instantly like flagged
Wow.
because the AI
Yeah.
recognizes something that it thinks is inappropriate,
Mm.
and then that data is linked to your identity.
A bit unsettling.
It's a little unsettling,
Yeah.
right?
You're sure?
And then you've got Microsoft's Windows Recall feature.
Yeah. What is that?
It can actually capture screenshots
Oh, wow.
and log like all your actions. It's almost as if they're
Oh.
building like this detailed record. Yeah.
Of everything you do.
It's like Big Brother-ish.
Right. So if we connect this back to what the article's saying,
Okay.
we're seeing this definite shift
Yeah,
in data collection
for
practices.
sure.
What does that tell us about how these companies view
Yeah.
our relationship with technology?
Right.
Are we heading towards a future where devices are more about control
Mm-hmm.
than personal empowerment?
That's the question.
Right.
That's the question. And this article, I mean, it goes even further.
Okay.
It suggests that, like, embedded AI
Mm.
could be used in ways that are, frankly, a little scary.
Okay.
Like, it brings up this concept of SCOP, right?
Scott.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which are, like, these mechanisms that can, like, suppress or amplify messages.
Okay, hold on. I need you to like break that down.
Sure.
What does that actually mean?
Okay, so, like, for someone like you using these AI companions,
Yeah.
what it means is that an AI, using this SCOP,
Okay.
could actually manipulate what you see.
And here, online, shaping your opinions and choices without you even realizing it.
So, like, give me an example.
Okay, so let's say you're researching a political candidate online,
Mm-hmm.
right? An AI companion, using SCOP, could like downplay
Oh.
the negative articles about that candidate,
Uh-huh.
and then you might form like a biased opinion without even realizing it.
Right.
It's very subtle,
It's very subtle,
but powerful.
but powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a bit unnerving. So if my AI companion is subtly nudging me
Mhm.
towards, certain products or news sources, how would I even know what's happening?
Exactly.
Right.
That's the scary
That's
part.
the part that really like gets me thinking. It's almost like a hidden hand,
Yeah.
guiding my my digital life.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, why transparency is so important
Oh, yeah.
in all this, right?
This is key.
So the article, it highlights this difference between proprietary closed source AI.
Right. Where the code is basically a black box.
Right.
You don't know what's in it.
And open source AI.
Yeah.
Where, the code is publicly available.
You can look at it.
And it can be examined.
Right. At least with open source, there's a chance to understand how these systems work.
So with open source, it's like knowing what ingredients are going into a dish.
Exactly.
Right. As opposed to just blindly trusting the chef.
That's a great analogy.
You're not just taking it on faith.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So now that we've talked about all these risks,
Okay.
let's switch gears for a minute.
All right.
Because the article also talks about some pretty incredible potential benefits of these AI companions.
It does.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the potential benefits are pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Imagine an AI that manages your schedule, reminds you of important tasks, even provides emotional support when you need it.
It's like having a personal assistant, therapist, and best friend all rolled into one.
Right.
Which, sounds pretty amazing, honestly.
It does sound pretty amazing.
It's not. But how will this personalized support actually, play out in our lives?
That's a good question.
Right. How could it evolve?
Well, imagine this, okay?
Yeah.
You need to write, this important email.
Okay.
But you're, struggling to find the right words. Your AI companion steps in, analyzes your past communication patterns.
Oh, wow.
And suggests phrasing that's both effective and aligned with your personality.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Or let's say you're about to have a difficult conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Happens all the time.
It does, right? Your AI could provide real-time coaching.
Oh, wow.
Helping you navigate the situation with confidence.
That's super interesting.
Those are some really, really interesting examples.
I think so.
It seems like the potential applications are pretty vast.
Yeah, you could go in a lot of directions.
And this article, it paints this picture of a future where AI companions are deeply integrated into our lives, impacting everything from how we shop to how we interact online. But is that the kind of future we actually want?
That's the question.
Right. Will this lead to a world of hyper-personalized experiences, or will it become a tool for manipulation and control?
Yeah.
One concern the article raises is how this technology could make advertising even more targeted and pervasive. Your AI companion could subtly nudge you.
Yeah, you don't even realize it.
Right. Towards certain products or services.
Right, based on all this data they have on you.
Based on your data profile.
Yeah, your profile.
Making you question whether you're truly in control of your choices.
That's a good point.
It's almost like it's a new version of that saying, if you don't pay for the product, you are the product.
Right.
But in this case, it goes beyond just our data being used for advertising, right? It's about AI potentially shaping our perceptions and influencing our behavior in ways we might not even be aware of.
Yeah, you're being manipulated and you don't even know it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that brings us to a really, really crucial question.
Yeah, what's that?
Autonomy.
Oh.
Right. Are we surrendering our ability to make independent decisions?
Interesting question.
As we become more reliant on these AI companions.
It is.
Right? Are we becoming passive consumers of information and experiences that are curated by algorithms?
Yeah.
I have to admit, the thought of my choices and desires being subtly manipulated by these AI systems is a bit unsettling.
It is a little unsettling.
How can we possibly maintain control?
Yeah, good question.
In a world where AI is so deeply embedded in our lives.
Yeah, the article really emphasizes that informed awareness is absolutely key.
Okay.
We need to be aware of the potential risks.
Right.
And make conscious choices about how we interact with these technologies.
So it's not about, like, rejecting AI altogether?
No, not at all.
But about using it thoughtfully
Yes.
and critically.
Right, exactly.
So we need to be the ones
Yes.
driving the AI-powered car,
right.
not just sitting in the passenger seat.
Right.
Right. We need to understand where we're going and make sure the AI is taking us in a direction that we're comfortable with.
Yeah, I love that. And that means, like, asking questions.
Right.
Right. If you're using an AI tool.
Like, how can you find out more about the algorithms behind it? Right. Are there, like, any inherent biases built into the system? How can you ensure your privacy is being respected? And, like, your choices aren't being manipulated?
These are, like, big questions.
They are big questions.
That we all need to be asking.
Yes.
As AI becomes more prevalent in our lives.
Yeah, for sure.
It sounds like we need a whole new set of, like, digital literacy skills.
Yeah, I agree.
For the age of AI.
Yeah.
We need to learn how to, like, evaluate these systems, understand their limitations, make informed decisions about when and how to use them.
Yeah.
It's not just about being, like, tech savvy anymore.
Yeah.
It's about being AI savvy.
It is. It's a whole other level.
Right.
I think you're right. And this responsibility, it goes beyond just individuals.
Right.
Like, we need to have these, like, broader conversations as a society about the ethical implications of AI.
What are the limits of AI's role in our lives?
Right.
How can we ensure it's used for good, not harm?
These are, like, crucial questions.
Absolutely.
Right.
If we want to shape a future where AI empowers us, not controls us.
It feels like we're at a real crossroads.
I think we are.
Like, we can either passively accept the AI-powered future that's being created for us, or we can actively participate in shaping it.
Yeah.
And that starts with, like, awareness, education, and a willingness to engage in these difficult but important discussions.
Yeah, I think you're right. The future of AI isn't some predetermined outcome, you know. It's a future that we're all creating together.
Right.
And while there are, you know, challenges ahead, there's also, like, opportunities to shape this technology in a way that benefits everyone.
Yeah.
It's up to all of us to stay informed, engaged, and proactive in shaping the AI landscape.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but about the human choices that guide its development and how it's used.
Right.
We have the power to shape this landscape if we stay informed, engaged, and willing to speak up.
Absolutely.
This deep dive, though, uncovered some pretty heavy stuff.
It did. It did.
I'm ready to, like, shift gears and talk about some possible solutions.
Okay.
Where do we even begin to address these challenges? You know, it's easy to get, like, caught up in all the scary, like, what ifs surrounding AI, but I think it's important to remember that we're not powerless.
No, not
in this situation.
We have agency.
Right.
Yeah.
And the article, it doesn't just highlight the problems, it doesn't points toward potential solutions.
Yeah, it tries to be, like, balanced, you know, solution-oriented.
And one of the most promising avenues, I think, is open source development.
Absolutely.
Right. We talked about it earlier, but I think it's worth exploring further.
Yeah, let's dig in.
So how can open source AI actually help, like, mitigate some of the risks we've been talking about?
Okay, so think about it this way, right? With open source AI, the code is accessible to everyone.
Okay.
So that means independent researchers, developers, even, like, concerned citizens, they can scrutinize it, right? Look for potential biases or vulnerabilities. This transparency, I think, could lead to the development of AI systems that are more trustworthy and aligned with, like, our values as a society, right?
So instead of just, like, blindly trusting a black box AI, we can actually kind of peek under the hood and see how things work. That's a game changer when it comes to building trust and accountability.
Oh, absolutely. It's huge.
Open source also allows for greater, like, user control.
That's right.
Right.
Like, imagine, you know, being able to adjust the privacy settings of your AI companion. Choosing exactly what data you're comfortable sharing and what remains private.
You're in the driver's seat.
It puts the power back in your hands.
It's like customizing your AI to fit your own values and comfort levels rather than being stuck with like a one-size-fits-all approach.
I like that.
Right. That's a much more empowering scenario. Another important aspect to consider,
what's that?
I think, is regulation.
Okay.
Governments and regulatory bodies, they have a crucial role to play.
They do?
In establishing like clear guidelines for the development and use of AI.
I think that's really important. This is where things get tricky.
Right. Because we've seen how powerful these tech companies are. Can regulations really keep up with this rapidly evolving technology?
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But, history shows that regulations can be effective in setting boundaries and protecting consumers.
Right.
Think about, like the regulations around food safety or environmental protection. We need like similar frameworks for AI to ensure that it's used responsibly and ethically.
So it's about finding that balance between like encouraging innovation and safeguarding against potential harm.
Absolutely. It's a tightrope walk.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about open source. We've talked about regulation. What other like solutions are out there?
Good question.
What can like individuals like me actually do to make a difference?
A lot, actually. It starts with like education.
Okay.
The more you understand about AI, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this whole new landscape, right?
Right.
And there are tons of resources available online, from articles and podcasts to courses and workshops.
It's like we were saying earlier, becoming AI savvy is crucial in this day and age.
Absolutely.
Right.
And another important step is to like support organizations that are advocating for responsible AI development.
Okay.
There are groups out there, pushing for greater transparency, ethical guidelines, user control, your support, whether it's through donations or just like spreading awareness can make a real difference.
And let's not forget the power of our voices.
Right. Collective action.
Right. We can demand more from the companies creating these technologies.
We can.
Right. We can write to our elected officials, sign petitions,
Mm-hmm.
participate in public discourse.
It all matters.
To shape the future of AI.
Yes.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We've explored the incredible potential of AI companions, but we've also uncovered some pretty serious risks.
Real risks.
Related to privacy, manipulation, the concentration of power.
Yeah.
It can feel overwhelming at times.
It can.
But I think it's important to end on a note of hope.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
The future of AI is not set in stone.
No, it's
a future we're all creating together.
We are. And while there are challenges ahead, there's also opportunities, right?
Yeah.
To shape this technology in a way that benefits everyone.
Absolutely. And we've talked about open source development, the need for like smart regulations, the importance of like individual education and action, and the power of collective advocacy.
Yes.
These are all like crucial pieces of the puzzle.
They are.
When it comes to building a future where AI empowers us.
Not controls us.
That's what we want.
Right.
That's the goal.
And as you continue to explore the world of AI, remember this.
Okay.
The most important question we need to ask ourselves.
What is it?
Is not what AI can do, but what it
should do.
Should do.
Yeah, that's the ethical question.
Right.
Like, what values do we want to embed in these systems?
Right.
What kind of future do we want to build? These are like the questions that each of us needs to grapple with as we move forward in this rapidly evolving technological landscape.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, this was fun.
On this deep dive into the fascinating.
It is fascinating.
And complex world of AI companions. It's a topic that will continue to evolve.
Yeah, it will. It will.
And we encourage you to stay curious.
Yeah.
Stay informed. And stay engaged in the conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah.